Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, and my intention going forward is to come to you live on Mondays and do a regular lesson, talk, discussion, conversation with you as a way to keep this waking up in a new world idea alive and well in your world. Because it's really, really important now that we're actually here. And as we know from all the interviews and all the people that we spoke with during this past month in Waking Up in a New World, uh, this is a time to really have the opportunity. We all are thinking this as restrictions, as social distancing, as things that we're not able to do. And in our version of this experience here in Waking Up in a New World, the goal has been to think of it also as opportunity. Sure, we're being restricted. Sure, there's things that we can't do. But we also, I'm going to take off my glasses. We also have the opportunity in so many ways to begin to live differently and in ways that feel better, more alive, more vibrant, more connected to authentically who we want to be. We have the opportunity to deepen connections with people around us, with families, and first and foremost with ourselves. So I want to come back to where we started in Waking Up in a New World, which was in the very first video when Cass and I were introducing the series. We talked about this idea of dreaming a new world into being. And in my shamanic training, we really, really embodied and embraced this idea that your imaginative state, the state of your mind, and the state of your mind connected with your being, so your doing also, and your heartfelt, wants and desires all contribute to this experience of bringing forth for yourself the kind of world, the kind of experience, the kind of life that you want to be living. So now that we are all here in a new kind of world, I don't know about you, but when I listen to the news, when I pay attention to some of the talk that's going on out there and reading some of the things, I think we have all accepted that there will be a new normal going forward. We are not going to be living in the same kind of world we were living in before. This is your opportunity to get really clear for yourself, what kind of a world do you want to be living in? And how much ownership are you willing to take to become a creator of that kind of experience? So I'm going to repeat that question, and I really want you to come back to it. We're going to go into a meditation, a guided experience in a few minutes, and I want you to really tune in for yourself right now. How much ownership are you willing to take of becoming the creator of your kind of experience going forward? As we think about this concept of dreaming our new world into being, we're each individually doing that for ourselves, right? In our own individual experience as a kind of center of this universe that we live in, right? And then we are also doing it collectively. So as a collective community, in our family community, in our work community, in our neighborhood community, in our state community, in our country community, in the global community, we are collectively beginning to create a new kind of way of being in the world. And yes, it's been prompted by the coronavirus. And yet, through that experience, this is opportunity to look at what are the changes that have come about that actually might be making life better for many of us, and what are the changes going forward that we can maintain. So we know that, many of us are struggling economically right now. Our jobs, our livelihoods have been threatened. Things are not the same. Of course, we don't want that to continue because that's a really frightening proposition, right? But the way that we're forming our systems of economics? Can we consider that maybe there's been some problems there and that we need to reconsider how we're going about that? And so this is our time to think about, how do we want to do it differently going forward? So we're not going to take on all the big world problems right here. We're going to stay inward, and we're going to stay focused on self, because if each one of us does our work, if each one of us changes, if each one of us takes true ownership of the kind of world and the kind of life we want to be living into, we have the opportunity to affect those around us. And then that gets wider, that circle gets wider and wider and wider. Okay? So we first start with self, and then we work outwards. So we're not going to go out here to the big economic problems that the world is facing. We're going to come back in here, and we're going to get really super clear about, how do you want to be living forward? How do you want to be living forward? As you've had time in this past month, and if you're somebody out there on the essential front lines and you're still working, you haven't had time to probably think about this. Although you probably have been pushed so hard at the edges and have been working so hard that you do, want to see a new world coming into being. So this is your time. I'm inviting you to take, this as being your time to tune into yourself and allow yourself to get really clear about what kind of a life and what kind of a world do you want to be living into, and what kind of changes are you willing to make inside yourself and then in your individual life to begin to create that kind of experience. This is where your power lies. This is where your true, authentic power lies. And the more that you can get in alignment with what you want here in your heart, align that with the way that you're thinking about your life in the world, and then bring it down, and I'm down here at belly now, and now bring that into action. Actually create the action, the choices, the decisions, the speech. All of it becomes aligned with this, right? What we want in heart. Excuse me. What we want in heart, and then how that thinking is aligned with what we want in our heart, and then come back and bring it down and actually put it into action. Make the choices, make the changes. So before we go into this guided experience, what I also want to say is, it's really interesting. I do a lot of change work with people. A lot of my focus is spent on helping people change within so that they actually start to change their behavior. This push right now, the experience that we're having in our lives right now, is life is calling on us to actually do things differently. We have been forced, or we have been, I don't want to say forced. I want to say we have been aggressively asked by life itself to look at the patterns and the choices that we are in, and the patterns and the choices that we've been making day to day, the habits and the patterns, to actually look at them and to feel how it feels not to be in that same pattern anymore. Okay? To experience the change, not from I just want to stop going to work every day. Oh, I just want to stop going out and shopping and spending idle time flipping through things in a store. Oh, I want to stop whatever else it is, right? That you feel like has been taken away from you. I want you to look at those things. And I want you to take the time, to ask yourself, how badly do I want those things? And why? Why do I want those things? Don't just insist, right, that you want those things, that you have to have those things, that you have to be doing those things. But instead, take the opportunity right now while you have it to say, Why do I want those things? Why do I have to be doing those things? What is it about those things that I so badly want and think that I need to be doing, right? So let's go into this, a brief guided experience together. And I want you to, if you can, and certainly you can, because you can do this anytime. I'm going to send it out as a recording as well. I want you to get a journal or get a piece of paper or be at your computer and take the time after we go through this guided experience to really make some notes for yourself, to start to explore a little more deeply what comes up as we go through this experience for you. Okay, and to really dive into, a deeper truth about what you want and why you might want that. So let's begin. Okay, if you're here with me now, sitting up nice and tall, if you are in recording and watching this, you could pause and you could go get your journal, or you could get something to write with, so that afterwards you have the opportunity to quickly pick up your pen and start putting down what's coming up for you. Okay, so let's sit up nice and tall. If sitting up for you is really uncomfortable, go ahead and let yourself lie down for this experience. But if you can, I want you to sit up, feet uncrossed, hands uncrossed, feeling an alignment from the base of your spine, from the place that you're sitting, right up through to the crown, top of the crown of your head, feeling like a straight line coming up there. And let's just take a moment to connect with breathing. So feeling the breath coming in, feeling the breath going out. Noticing the top of your head, noticing your face and your jaw, and letting everything begin to relax as you notice and bring your attention there. Noticing the back of your head and your throat and your neck. Breathing and relaxing. Noticing your shoulders, your arms, your chest. Noticing your heart. Noticing your stomach, your hips, your groin, your belly. Letting go and relaxing. Noticing your legs, your knees. Noticing your feet. Being aware of your full body. Noticing any place that might be speaking to you right now that's tight or tense, uncomfortable. And allow your breathing to just go there and let go. And now focus your attention on your heart. And just tune into your day-to-day life the way it's been right now. And ask yourself, what is it that you're missing in your life right now? What are you missing in your life right now? And when you consider that, allow yourself to ask yourself, what is it that you want? Around that idea of missing something, what were you getting from that? What do you want from that thing that's not there in your life? What is it that your inner life is wanting, pining for, longing for? What is it that you want? Is it distraction? Is it the old habit and pattern that you're just used to? What's behind it? Is it something that you enjoy? What do you enjoy about it? Is it something that fulfills you? What about it fulfills you? Really fulfills you? Not on a superficial level, but on a really heartfelt level. Come back to your heart space as you're doing this work, as you're digging in and asking. Now ask yourself, what's changed in your life that you like in this last month? What's different? And what do you like about what's different? What are you enjoying? What do you want to keep going forward about this experience? What changed your routine? The way you're connecting with family or friends or people? What kind of changes do you want to make and keep going forward? Drop back into your heart. Make sure you're in your heart for this next question. You really need to be in heart space. If you're in head space and you're asking yourself this question, it's not really going to serve you well. So make sure you're coming down and dropping down into heart space or even lower in your body. And once you've connected there, for you, what are the messages in a bigger way that we're getting about how we need to change and how we need to grow right now as a people, as a human community? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? What is your heart telling you about how we all collectively need to live life differently? What do you like about that? What do you want about that? In that message, what's there for you, for all of us, that you want to embrace? Stay in your heart. If you're in your head, this exercise is useless for you. You've got to come down into your heart space and lower and really connect deeply within yourself to be able to see the bigger picture and to be able to really connect with what's happening here in a way that could be beneficial, in a way that could serve us all, in a way that could serve you. All right, I want you to take a few breaths. If you have your journal in near you or your computer or a piece of paper and pen, you should go ahead and make some notes. And we're going to close this out now. We will be back next week. If you're alive or you're coming back and you're watching this, please leave a comment for me. Please let me know what came up for you. I would love to have us share as a community what this brought up for each of us. All right, everybody, sending you lots of love.